Hi everybody, so welcome to the new series of episodes, Come Back to Sacred Nature of Birth. So it's going to be completely revolutionary what you're going to hear here. For this knowledge, for this education, you need to pay good money, decent money to really access it in the best birthing courses available now. What I'm bringing here is information that is not biased, that it's not dogmatic, that is not radical. My mission is to raise consciousness about the real physiology of natural birth. My goal of bringing you this information is making this kind of education, the real education, the true education about women's body, available to every woman that is about to give birth, to every pregnant woman. And in the first episodes, I'm gonna focus on the biggest misconceptions that we have in our heads about birth. And let me tell you, they are huge. So today I'm gonna tell you about the body, how we don't understand how women's body work in the birth process. The next video I'm gonna tell you about the brain, what we don't know, what we don't understand actually about the brain functioning during birth. And in the third video, I'm gonna tell you about the dance of hormones, which is super essential for understanding why so many births, natural births, fail nowadays. Why so many women land in the emergency C-section operations. So stay with me today. Let's talk about body. So firstly, let's speak about an image of a birth that we all carry in our heads. And of course, it is the one from all the horror movies of a screaming woman on the hospital bed. But let's see a bit closer. Let's look a bit closer to this image. So how we actually imagine birth. I mean, in our social consciousness. So the woman is experiencing stronger and stronger contractions until she's dilated, until to 10 centimeters, and then the active pushing phase begins. So the woman is pushing strongly, being completely conscious. She's being even coached or supported or encouraged by other like medical assistants, like midwives or doctors, to push and then to maybe pause her breath and to hold her breath for some time and then to push again, right? And the baby is descending down the birth canal until it's emerging into the world. So this is the image that we carry. Now, let me tell you how the nature really designed it for us and how far it is from that image that we all carry in our heads, but most importantly, in our bodies. So the first huge misunderstanding is that the baby simply descends through the birth canal and then the cervix is opening and then the pushing phase begins, right? So I will a bit read from my notes because it's a medical vocabulary and I'm not a native English speaker, but a really beautiful perspective on that process and on what really happens with our uterus and during contractions was proposed by a traditional midwife and birth educator, Carla Hartley. So Hartley described labor as a process in which the uterus essentially builds up its power at the top while drawing the tissues of the cervix upward. So how she explained it is that the uterus during the contractions, and this is actually the role of the contraction, is building a fundus at the top of the uterus. So it's rather than just simply pushing the baby down, it's reshaping, reforming in a way that it's beginning to draw a lot of tissue upwards in a way of helping the cervix to come closer to the top of the head or another part of the baby in whichever positions they choose to be. So she's proposing thinking about the cervix as tissue that is gradually drawn upwards and out of the way as the upper uterus contracts and retracts. So what does it mean? That it's not simply that cervix, functions as, it opens as door, right? That the baby descends and then the uterus is just opening. So she gives completely different picture of what dilation actually is. So the uterus is building the muscular force that moves the baby downward. So it is the muscles of uterus themselves that are pushing the baby downwards during the contraction. So it's not really that the baby is descending only, but the uterus is reshaping in a way to bring the cervix closer to the child. And you've probably seen it yourself if you have given birth, or maybe you've seen a birthing woman, how much her belly shape really changes just before the birth and during the birth. It is exactly this reorganization of the uterus that is happening and that it's seen from outside. Okay, so now another huge misconception about birth. What if I told you that our blessed Mother Nature didn't really design us in a way to push actively during our births? And I bet you saw it, you've seen it in many National Geographic movies about animals, while the mama antelope or mama elephant are birthing and the baby's like simply just slipping out, like falling out from her womb on the ground. And so let's look at the physiology of humans, because we, like other mammals, are actually designed to birth exactly the same way. And let me tell you the scientific facts that are now actually confirming and supporting this view. So this strong fetal ejection that you see in all these animal examples, it is called in humans the Ferguson reflex, which is just another way of giving the name of a guy to something that is innately natural for women. But it is called even, and it is even recognized by science as something that they called Ferguson reflex. So what they mean is that as the baby descends, comes into contact with the cervix and the surrounding tissues. That pressure is sensed by the mother's nervous system, and sensory signals travel to the brain, where they contribute to the release of oxytocin. Oxytocin strengthens and coordinates uterine contractions, and those contractions move the baby further down. And then the baby experiences more and more pressure, stronger contractions. And this is actually where it's becoming interesting, because when the cervix is fully dilated, we often imagine that the uterus finished its job and now the mother needs to push, right? That the mother takes over and now she needs to push actively. But physiologically, really, how the nature designed us, this transition is not so simple, because the forces that have been moving the baby downward, they haven't stopped really suddenly. The uterus is still contracting, the baby is still descending, pressure on the pelvic tissues is increasing, and then the body can respond with an involuntary, powerful, expulsive reflex. So the woman might not really even think consciously, now I'm going to push, now I feel the need to push, but her body can simply begin to do it. And often women who were conscious enough, or just lucky enough to experience the real physiology of human birth, they very often describe it in a way that they were not even conscious of the baby coming out. This is our nature. My grandmother, from the line of my father, of the lineage of my father, she experienced it with my own father. that she was left alone in the hospital. It was some kind of holiday and no one was really taking care of her. And she told me that she didn't even realize that she was so far in the process, you know, that she was just laying on the bed and her body just gave birth. The baby just, she said it in her words, that the baby has just fallen out from her. And this is exactly what I want to tell you, that more and more women will get to experience birth like this, like it is designed by nature. And you can read it also in Michel Audin books where he described many examples of how women used to birth in the past, and how this effect of Ferguson reflex, how it's slowly disappearing, like that it's actually not even noticed in the hospitals anymore because of the births being so far away from the natural process. So you can argue with me, you can say, yes, we are not animals, so yes, maybe we are mammals, but we have neocortex, we think, we are rational, we have completely, so the birth should look also different, right? So let me tell you also how the nature designed us in a way to allow actually this kind of primal mammal experience, all in spite of having neocortex. So stick with me. Next video is going to be all about how the brain of a woman works really in the nature's designed birth, in a birth designed by nature. Stay with me. See you there.